We're live right now.
I'm in effect
Everybody,
right now.
this is Big Dog Chico in the house. I had mentioned that we were going to do some lives together. It's been labor of love trying to get it together. We both have families, and so we're here live. We're going to be talking about the Prime economics, the impact that Coach Prime has had at CU, not only economically in terms of the money that he has brought to the campus, whether it be the promotions, whether it be the ticket sales, but also you have an increase in enrollment, particularly within the Black population, people that are coming from outside of Boulder, Colorado. And of course, you have Latinos that are saying, hey, I want to go to school there. So he's brought a lot of excitement. And we want to talk about the impact economically, but also, I think, psychologically and culturally in terms of the buzz and trying to bring back the glory of the program. And we've been saying that it's a process. And Big Dog, Chico, I want to hear your point of view on this, as we talked about this behind the scenes some time back. Go ahead, brother. It's really good to have you here, and I'm going to give you a clap. We're going to – it's all right.
Oh, well, hey.
All right.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, man. And like Neely had to correct me on our show that we're doing jointly together. Now, I'm going to correct you and say that, you know, instead of joining you, we're doing this together. We're streaming on both channels right now. We're trying to bring this to you guys each week live and get you guys joining in the conversation and engagement and so on, and find out what you all think too. But we're definitely going to be talking some Coach Prime economics and everything that's going on with Prime Sports Media and myself. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, comment, all the other good stuff. But yeah, the things that Coach Prime is doing in Colorado is unprecedented as of right now. Of course, we've seen the standards that he's been setting in the classroom with the caliber of players that he's bringing into CU. They've already reached the second time they've had the highest GPA in the history of the athletics program. So I think that's saying a lot about the character of the guys that he's bringing in. He's bringing in guys who's taking it serious in the classroom, which is going to translate on the field, in my opinion. So I think this is going to be something to continue to watch. It's only going to get better and better as he continue to bring in these guys. And I think recruits will also realize that, you know, just like recruits realized years ago about going to Bama, not just anybody's going to get in there. You're going to have certain grades. Character issues is going to have to be a non-existent type thing. And it's going to just a standard. And like he loves to say, the standard is the standard. So what he's doing there is making history right before our eyes.
Right. Now, Brother Chico, I got to ask you this question. I had made mention of it before, and he's right. We're doing this jointly together, everybody. Our channels are connected through way of the StreamYard. But I have to ask you this question, brother. There has been a 20% bump in their enrollment. And out of that 20%, I think they said 50% of African-American or Black American enrollment in the university has skyrocketed up. You've got about 25% Latinos, La Raza, who have decided that they want to go there. And of course, we had mentioned this before going live, that there's a culture shift like no other in Boulder. What are your thoughts about that, my brother?
Well, I could speak on my experience when I was there, of course. And of course, we see in the news the influx of students that's wanting to enroll at CU now after seeing the culture change or the influx of what Coach Prime is bringing to Colorado. I think it's very attractive to students of color. So to have that influx of that enrollment going up, I think is only just going to rise, and it's a reflection of what Coach Prime is doing in the type of, when you bring in those students, you have whether it's family that's going to come join them in the community. You're going to have other students that's going to come join and want to be a part of the program. I never forget when the students stormed the field the first game there at Boulder in the Coach Prime era versus Nebraska. There was one student, I had it on video. She came up there and she literally touched the back of Shedeur Sanders, and she went crazy. Oh my God, I touched him! I touched him! I touched him! So, you know, if that type of impact is going on the field and right there, imagine what it's like for students to sit in the classroom next to him and that feeling like that. So that might be the only chance they get. They might not be able to see him in any other way. So yeah, I want to enroll in a school. If I have a chance to go to, I'm a Colorado native, I have a chance to go to another school, I want to pick Colorado. It's the cool school right now. Everybody want to have that CU on their chest, that buffalo on their hat. They want to have a Coach Prime shirt or logo or such. So of course you're going to see the enrollment go up. One thing is, when I was there for that game in particular, the first game, I met so many people. You saw so many people of color also there. And you're like, where you guys from? They're from all over, North Carolina, Atlanta, California, wherever. These guys, and a lot of people say, hey, we're here. We're Prime fans. We've been Prime fans.
Right.
And so he's having an impact all which ways, whether it's students enrolling there, fans impact, people watching. It's happening all over. And he's not just doing it in a rinky-dink type way. He's doing it in a high-quality way by bringing in these student athletes with high character, who are smart, disciplined, and able to learn fast and on the run like that. So,
wow,
you know, it's only going to get better.
Let me do this. We know that Julian Lewis is taking, you can see him up there to the left of me. He's taking a trip back this June 21st. And I think Uncle Nilly had said on his podcast that that's a good thing, that you want to be last. But one of the things that he said that we spoke about too earlier, brother, is that this young man said that he recognizes the buzz. He recognizes what's popping at CU, and that many of the people out there are saying, don't count CU out, because his father has a great relationship from what he says with Coach Prime, and that he likes what he sees is going on. He says he would have never thought about considering going there if it was not for Coach Prime and the impact that he has brought to CU. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, yeah, we've seen Julian Lewis being committed to USC for the longest now, and we've seen him take trips to other schools too. I think he just came back from Indiana University. So, like Uncle Neely said, with Coach Prime in Colorado being the last visit for this 2025 recruit, I think that's going to be nothing but a positive for us to have that last, as you will, I guess, just major impact on it, to where he can see the whole campus. He can get a feel for the coaching staff in depth. He can see the players who are there on campus and who will be there when he gets there, because they brought in a lot of young talent, especially on the offensive line. So he can see guys like Jordan Seaton, Zach Owens, Big Peyton Kirkland, who's going to be there to protect him. Wide receivers like Cordell Russell, Baby T.O.
Yes.
You have Draylon Miller, Cam Michael, Omarion Miller, a bunch of young wide receivers there that he's going to have at his disposal. Then you go with Pat Shermer, the former NFL head coach and offensive coordinator, who was responsible for some great years from guys like Donovan McNabb and Sam Bradford, and those years up in Minnesota where they led the league in offense. So he has a lot of things, or CU has a lot of things pointing up for them to pull off an upset over USC. You know, with the you see the exposure that they're getting at Colorado. You see all the exposure Shedeur Sanders is getting. He can come right into that spot and be that 5-star caliber quarterback, that charismatic quarterback, that high profile quarterback, and possibly get right into that top NIL position like Shedeur Sanders. And as long as he is as good as advertised, then you know, Julian Lewis can be right there in the Heisman race. But I will say this, you know, USC has a lot of things for them with their coach, who's produced multiple Heisman Trophy winners. You know, so he can say, hey, man, I can go right over here with Coach and do what Caleb and the rest of those guys did. Baker and who's the other one? Kyler that I'm forgetting. So, you know, it's going to be a game time decision, I think, and that's what I think is in favor of you, Colorado, with being that last visit to have that last impression on Julian Lewis.
Now, economically, when you talk about NIL, if I'm correct, you have a lot of people saying, some of these kids are going to schools where they can get the quote unquote bag and what have you. But, with time and process, with time for him to build this program up, I could make the argument that CU will be able to compete in that area because Coach Prime is bringing money. Let me give you this, for example.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Last year, they stated that the university, since the season started, is worth more than $90 million. CU Boulder chief spokesperson spoke about the impact of Coach Prime. Now, the number that they put out there, brother, was that CU football games are estimated to have generated an economic impact, I believe, of $113.2 million during the 2023 season.
Right.
And that there was a direct impact estimated at $72.1 million, comprised as a direct spending by visitors, organizers, people going there and staying in the hotels, the bars, the whole 9 yard is the impact, which turns into obviously money. The school obviously will make money, which can also go into building up their coffers to build up their ability to compete with the other schools to attract some of these young men that would be worth the NIL. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, that's what it's all about. You have to use that money and that impact, that economic impact that they've built there, thanks to Coach Prime, to be able to attract better quality players to compete in the long run with these bigger schools who are already had a head start to doing that. With their success in the past, schools like USC, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. South Kakalaki, to quote Trick Daddy.
I like that.
So, at the end of the day, man, same thing happened at Jackson State. He had a huge economic impact, and you saw what happened around the city and things of that nature. Everybody benefited. And same thing, you come here to Boulder, and everybody's benefited. You go downtown to Pearl Street, from well-known places like Pasta J's to the Sink to newer spots down there. And I'm sure more will be popping up this year because they know that the fan base is going to be there. The one thing I did notice is that they had an influx of people on the outsides of the buildings and the establishments of the building or the businesses downtown that couldn't even make it inside. So that's an opportunity for people to find a way to corral those people, find something for those people to do, because just with the businesses downtown is not going to be enough to handle all of those people that's coming in. As far as the recruits go, I think the collective that they're bringing together with the 5430 Foundation and such, I think we're doing a good job of that, but that's going to have to continue to build. We have a lot of eyes on CU, but still those donors are needed to compete in the long run with those that loan money of those other schools.
Let me ask you this question. We all witnessed what Coach Prime was able to accomplish at Jackson State. And of course, when he decided to leave, he took some criticism. And I think a lot of it was mainly because people in general hated to see him leave. They thought that in some way he could be the savior of HBCU football in some ways. But when you look at it, a lot of people forget that when he got there, the Cuffers were very bare at Jackson State. They were going through some rough times, and he revitalized that program. I mean, new practice field. And also, do you know that the attendance increased at Jackson State? He actually got people fired up and emotionally involved in their team, because people are very passionate about Jackson State. But what Coach Prime did there, changing, upgrading the facilities, the locker room, uniforms, the whole 9 yard, all the swagger, all the impact that he brought there, I think that was why people really hated to see him leave. And that's why he took some criticism, because they were looking at the possibilities of that program elevating itself further. And then, of course, he took on the job at CU, which I don't know why anyone would think that he wasn't going to try to elevate himself just as much as everyone wants to elevate themselves. What are your thoughts on that, big dog?
Man, I think you might get one of my first real takes on this.
I'll definitely want to hear it. Yes.
But I'll say this, man. First off, why people give him so much hate for leaving? I would say, you don't have to put me on the big screen. I don't want to see my ugly face too much. But other than that, listen. Hey, real talk though, man. No one wanted to see him leave Jackson State. As far as anybody who has love for HBCUs or who was in that moment, nobody wanted to see him leave. They wanted to see him be the savior of HBCU, so to speak, and to do this for the long run. And it sounded good. It sounded great. It sounded amazing, you know. But at the end of the day, man, he had kids, right? And he has kids who aspire to be pros in their profession, right?
Right.
So to play the devil's advocate, you know, you'll say, well, he could stay at Jackson State. Those kids going to go pro anyway. You know, and you can help out other people going pro. Well, he can do that in a different way also. Okay, here's the breakdown. All right, Doc. I come down here, I give you, I set it up, I get you guys a new football field, new facilities, new light on your program that has never been there. Okay, Jackson State faithful might say, well, we were there, we did this, we had 60,000 there before Coach Prime got there. Well, not immediately before, not the year before Coach Prime got there. I'm sure y'all had it in spots before, but to have it consistently like Coach Prime had and to be on the major networks consistently like Coach Prime had Jackson State and other HBCUs, I think it's the reason why it's kind of like a bitter taste in some people's mouth. Like, damn, you had us up here and now you just leave us. Well, it's just like what he said in the song he just dropped that people took the wrong way too.
Right.
He said, I gave the SIP the blueprint and took my family to Boulder. What's wrong with that? People, oh, well, he's still dissing us. No, he's not dissing you. I gave you guys the blueprint. And what does blueprints do? Help you to build to be better. So I gave you guys this, right?
Big dog, I got to say something, though, here.
Go ahead.
Let me just say this. And this is something more cultural. I think when it comes to the Black community in general, sometimes we have, and I don't want to be preachy, you know, I know we want to talk sports and keep it on sports, but sometimes within the Black community, we have sort of a Messiah complex where we sometimes are looking for someone to sort of save the day. Now, brother Johnson put in here and he said that the difference with Jackson State was that the community didn't want to invest in the team. Now, I'm not so sure about that, but they did seem to wrap themselves around the fact that Coach Prime was willing to use his resources and connection to improve things around the school, right? And I think sometimes people want better for their programs and their schools and their neighborhood, their community, but sometimes people can be a little lazy at doing it themselves, so they sit back and watch and benefit from someone else who comes in to save the day. Now, this is not a political show. I leave that for my other channel. That's just my little commentary.
You said the truth right there, in my opinion. You said the truth. Some people are like that. You got a guy like Coach Prime who is a doer. So instead of him coming at asking and hoping that everybody gathers around and do some things, no, dog, I'm gonna ask you. And if we're not doing and we're not making any action, then I'm gonna make some action. I can make some calls. I can do something to make some action. And that's what he's about. And a lot of our people will sit back and say, why is he doing it like this? Or he should have waited on us. Or why didn't we have no input? Or let us get some credit for what he's done. You know, it's just facts. You know what I mean? But
and at the end of the day, he left Jackson State in a better place. Exactly. he left Jackson State in a better place that they were before he got there, and I hope that people will remember that as he has moved on to CU.
Hold on, I'm not gonna let you go off that easy. Hold on.
Go ahead, brother.
Because I don't want people to take it, the wrong way.
Take it the wrong way.
Well, either way, take it how you feel. I'm speaking what I feel, what I experienced, and what my truth is. And the fact is, he gathered a lot of people around HBCUs and Jackson State that probably
that's true.
Would have never thought about gathering around it, right?
That's true.
At the end of the day, if he wanted to be in the best situation for his kids to be as successful as they can be, it was some setbacks with being at Jackson State. Point blank, period. Because he's worked at the NFL Network. He knows how these things go. No matter what Shedeur Sanders did at quarterback at Jackson State, he would never be in the position, in my opinion. I couldn't see him being in the position to be drafted as high as he will be, or as he's projected to be drafted right now from Colorado, but putting up the same numbers. They're going to take that. NFL scouts and such are going to say, okay, he did it on this level, so now he can be drafted. Had he done that at Jackson State, been just as good. Football is football, dog.
I see what you're saying.
But has he done it at Jackson State, those people would have said, he just did it at Jackson State. They would have still tried to hold something against him for HBCU football. Probably would have been second, third, fourth round pick.
So it impacted his draft status.
HBCU. So yes, Coach Prime really had to do a business move, which was best for him and his kids. But while doing that, here's the reason why we should be thankful as a people. He did it and shine light on HBCU, as much light as ever has been there to HBCU and Jackson State. He did that at the same time, and now he has elevated. He left them in a better space. They have a great coach down there with Coach TC, and they have good players coming in who probably would have never thought about Jackson State. Now they see how how they can prosper coming from Jackson State and other HBCUs. So I don't think the fan base or anybody out there should have a bitter feeling from Coach Prime, other than I just wish he would have stayed. But you still should be rooting from afar, dog, because that's still a former coach at Jackson State who did great things for JSU, and it's still D I love. And last point is, since we're speaking about economics, of course, look at all of the people he brought from Jackson, Mississippi, and surrounding areas up there to Boulder, Colorado, who are now working, increased salaries, seeing things that they probably would have never done, gotten education from this prestigious university. Nothing saying about Jackson State or HBCUs, but some people view this as a better piece of paper or diploma or whatever. So,
but check this out.
Let's be real about it.
Check this out. And since we're down this road, when you look at those coaches that have been with him since Prime Academy, since the Little League days, what have you, sometimes we can't have it both ways, big dog. We say that we want to see our people, elevate. Well, look, by him bringing, which is a lot of coaches that are black, to CU, he's opening up the door for some of these gentlemen, these brothers, these coaches, or all the coaches, no matter what race they are, to elevate their opportunity to get a head coaching job. Now, as much as people had criticisms about Sean Lewis, look, Sean Lewis has a head coaching job at San Diego State, if I'm not mistaken, which will give him an opportunity to elevate himself within the coaching ranks. So there's a chance that I want Coach Prime to have success, because if he has success, the players have success, the program has success, it's going to open a door for some of these coaches to get opportunities that they may not have gotten. Now, I want you to finish. I want you to break it down a little bit more, brother.
I mean, it goes even further than the coaching staff. It goes to the support staff, from his security to his, I think, secretary and assistants. Shout out to Miss Ty Stewart, who's from Mississippi, to Uncle Neely, who's doing content. He's from Mississippi, JSU alum. You go on and on, from people coming up there catering from Jackson, Mississippi, to players who transferred from Jackson State, who will forever have that with their name as they move on to higher ranks, NFL or wherever they go from Colorado, it's still going to have Jackson State first,
Yes.
Colorado then to the pros or whatever. So all of this is going to benefit Jackson State from now from the time he left into the long run. It should be all embraced, but in our culture, a lot of times we, like you said, that savior mentality or whatever you want to call it, we tend to find a reason to hate rather than celebrate and congratulate. You know what I'm saying? So it's way easier for some of us to hate. So
now,
do your thing.
I want to say shout out to everyone that's in the chat room. I'm going to be pulling up your thoughts on the screen so that if there's something that Brother Big Dog Chico wants to address, any questions anyone has, feel free to ask questions or any thoughts that we can also conversate on. We're on this video, we're trying to cover, which we have a little bit, the economic impact, the cultural impact that Coach Prime has brought to CU, but not only CU, as you've heard us talking about what he did at Jackson State. And you know what, Big Dog, we could take it further. Look at the impact that he had when he first came into the NFL. Okay. How every place he went, I gotta be honest, before he got to Atlanta, to use the word popping, Atlanta Falcons was not popping.
No, dog.
Until he got there.
The whole culture of how and I feel like we're still doing this to this day, the whole culture of how we root for teams and players, I think started with Coach Prime and I would say Reggie White during those early 90s when free agency first really hit, and Reggie White went from the Eagles to the Packers, and Coach Prime went from Atlanta to San Francisco. Everybody still loved him as a player, so they're like, wait, can I root for San Francisco now? Well, yeah, that's the culture now because he just changed teams, and I'm going to follow my favorite player. Hence, now we got LeBron James going from here to there, and other players and all over sports switching teams. And it's not very much team loyalty, especially if you're from like myself. Yes. We don't have a pro team where I come from. So we're going to kind of gravitate to the closest team, which was Atlanta, and the players. And so you root for Atlanta Falcons, and you root for Deion Sanders. He leaves to go to another place. We're going to follow him and be a fan because he's a product now. He's a business now. He has shoes, jerseys, cartoons, and all these things that go along with the whole economy along with him now. Same way he's doing in Colorado.
Right.
With the reason why this is a part of prime economics. This is a part of the prime economy. Right now, us doing this show, us benefiting.
It's part of it.
Whether it's
we are.
People in the chat donating or we're getting ad revenue money.
You're absolutely right.
Look, in the prime ecosystem.
Let me add this if I could. I'm technically, when it comes to the NFL, I'm a 49er fan. Now, the year that Coach Prime got to the 49ers, because the 49ers, as everyone knows, were struggling to get over the top against the Dallas Cowboys. They brought Prime over, and he shifted the whole thing, meaning he took over a whole side of the field, said, y'all worry about that, I'll take care of this. But this is the thing I remember. This is why this man is an economic impact. The economics for the 49ers was impacted. The jersey sales, everything that he brought. Matter of fact, I think he was with the 49ers when he did that video, It Must Be the Money. It was a lot of things that was happening in the Bay when he was here in the Bay. If I'm not mistaken.
He was messing with Hammer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's almost like everywhere he goes, the money and everything follows him. And it's no different at CU.
The ecosystem is coming. It's no different. It's no different from wherever he's gone. Same way with the interviews when he was in the NFL and produced that viral moment from Marshawn Lynch.
Yes.
You know, what do you say? I'm about that action, boss. I'm just here so I won't be fined. And he didn't talk to anybody else, but he talked to Prime.
Right.
You know, Prime goes to San Francisco. They start wearing the throwback jerseys. You know, during that time, the 75th anniversary.
Thank you for reminding me about that.
Fly off the shelf. It's like
a
collector's item, or it's like fashion. Also, it went with the shoes he had on.
The head bandana. Nobody was wearing the bandanas. No, and there's another thing too. Prime, he made his uniform just like they did like they did in basketball with the droopy pants and all of that, and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Prime made the football uniform in the NFL look popping.
Look
Because he had the
poetic,
bandana.
looked like fashion, looked like it was tailor made. And as a young kid on the football field, I remember, shout out to my guy Derek Tate, who played back then. He was the first person I saw imitating like Deion Sanders. Played on a little league team called the Falcons, had number 21, wore the headband, wore like red towels and stuff. Listen, hey man, just like you said, when he came to San Francisco, he changed he also changed the mindset of the players. He changed the attitude, the swag. You see Merton Hanks doing the neck now. You see Jerry Rice loosening up a little bit.
He did lose. No, stop right there. You're absolutely right. Because remember, prior to Prime getting there, people sort of saw Jerry Rice as a great player, the greatest, but more conservative. He didn't really do a lot of dancing, a lot of showboating. And then when Prime got there, you're right. Jerry Rice was loosening up and he was moving and doing. Yeah, man, you bringing me back now.
It didn't happen at first, though. It happened in the course of practice. And that's when Prime tells you about how he practiced the way he played. So Jerry earned, I think, he earned that respect from Jerry, seeing that, damn, this guy's loose. He's himself. He says what he wants, does what he wants. But he's also at practice going hard each and every day, just like myself. So Jerry had to eventually respect that and then said, okay, I can respect him because he's going hard and he's making those plays. Maybe I can do a little bit. And now you see Jerry on the sideline with big helmet chains, got his rings on, doing the GOAT celebration. Come on, man. That's all a byproduct, at least a little bit of Prime.
I got to ask you this question. Are you familiar with this situation, Big Dog Chico? This brother right here, who's one of my mods on my channel, Brother Johnson, says, Coach Prime went to the Chamber of Commerce and wanted to set up a plan to evaluate the school and community, which they denied. Now, was this back when he was in Texas at Prime Academy, Brother Johnson? Give us some more details, because I'm not sure about this, but are you familiar with this story, Brother Chico?
Evaluate the school and community. I
now,
don't know where,
the only thing I can think when he says school is the Prime Academy, which
and probably
unfortunately
the reason why he started Trinity or Truth Academy. Okay. Because he probably didn't like the curriculum or whatever going on. Same way he probably got into coaching. But he said JSU.
Oh, I think he's talking about JSU.
I'm not sure. I don't want to get into those speculations.
I don't want to get into speculation, but I'll just say this. I wouldn't be surprised. Matter of fact, wait a minute. Let me correct this. Okay, it's starting to come back. Actually, Brother Johnson is right. I think he did talk to some of the politicians in Mississippi about a few issues, but I don't know all the details, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was involved in some way or fashion. I know he was heavily involved when they had the water crisis. I followed that story, the water crisis in Mississippi, how he spent of his own money and time to get water to people in the community. You know, of course, he had to get his players to a hotel because they didn't have shower water. So I really respected him, and he did all of that when he was suffering from some of the issues he had with his, his foot and everything.
And think about that, man, going through all of that stuff and having to go through toe amputation and surgeries and things, and no water going on for your kids. Like, damn, dog, the most essential thing, dog. Y'all, what's going on? And I can't get no help with it either. Like, man, I'm down here trying to help. I don't have to be here. Like he said, I'm in the third quarter of my life. You know what? If another opportunity comes and it's better to where I don't have to spend my resources to make things better around here, then I got to take that opportunity, dog. And a lot of people might not realize the differences between, and I'm just talking about football complex-wise, HBCUs and Power Fives or Power Fours, even Division II and Power Fours. It's a huge, vast difference. The things that he had to worry about at Jackson State or no worries at Colorado or at probably any other school of that nature. Getting treatment in a certain type of facility, football locker rooms, just extra equipment, proper workout type stuff, food and nutrition is huge. You know, why wouldn't I take that opportunity to go somewhere else because of what somebody else saying? No, dog, it ain't gonna never be that. You know, so I have to do what's right by me and ask yourself this question in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to make the best decision for your kids? Or are you going to do it for somebody else? You're going to be about your kids, dog.
Right.
Simple
See,
as
that's
that.
the thing, though. A lot of people, if they were in his situation and they've got kids, like you said, they're going to make those decisions based on the benefit of their children, their son, their daughter, whatever the situation is. Your responsibility is to take care of your family. That's what a man's responsibility. And so Coach Prime did what he did for his kids, for his family, for his sons. Okay. But this is the thing that gets lost, Brother Chico. People forget that, you know, there's a lot of criticism that he takes where you got people saying things like, oh, he only focuses on his sons. No, you have other young men that are benefiting from being at CU that are not his sons in terms of blood related, but there are other young men there that are being impacted by being in this program, engaging with Coach Prime and the coaches there. So it's not just Coach Prime, but it's the whole package that he has going on there. What do you think about that? It's just the whole package in itself of coaches, assistant coaches, right? The people that he's bringing in.
It's a whole network of resources for these players that's there at Colorado right now. Over 120 plus years of NFL experience that you can rely on, that you can go to one way or another to deal with problems, deal with situations. Hey, what am I doing wrong in order for me to get to my destination? Well, you're going the wrong way, son. You know, I've been there where you're trying to get to. Here's where you need to go. This is what you need to do. And the mindset of these coaches and things of that nature. So all of these guys who are there have the ability to elevate themselves and be professionals at some level, even if it's not in the football space or the athletic space. You have a way to where you can elevate and be a professional and network with all of these guys that we have here, whether it's just the football team, the foundation, the coaching staff, the university, the people around it, the fans. It's a whole system there where these kids can benefit from if they just take advantage of it.
Now, Big Dog Chico, you said something that I got to go back to, or I want to ask you about. And everybody out there watching, we are doing this as one jointly. So both
Make
our
sure
channels,
you hit the like, subscribe, comment.
Hit the likes and subscribe. I want everybody that follows my channel to definitely check out Big Dog Chico. He's got an excellent channel. He does great interviews. He gets some of the big dogs in the game on his channel that he talks to in interviews. He's got football experience himself, which I wanted to ask you about too before we end tonight. But he gives great analysis, knows what he's talking about. But this is the area that I wanted to touch. I wanted to touch on.
And I drink white cocoa. Get you some.
Did I lose my train of thought here?
That's on me. My fault.
I've been wanting to ask you this. We know that Coach Prime impacts everywhere he goes, one way or another. But you said something earlier. The YouTubers, the people that are content creators, should I say? Yeah. Let's not sit up here and act like I haven't benefited. You haven't. We all have benefited, whether it be financially, as you said before, our channels growing. We all have been impacted in a positive way by the Prime effect, by the Prime economics, because the Prime economics is making our channels pop off. Let's just keep it real. Okay. You know, we report these stories, we give our analysis, but it is the fact that people are so interested in Coach Prime, what he's doing as a coach, what he's doing with the young men at CU, that's really what's bringing the audience, as we're just acting as independent reporters.
Independent vessels, so to speak, to get out the news and everything about that, what's going on with Coach Prime, because yes, he has an audience out there that want to see and know new things about him at all times, and at all times of the day. Like Neely and I was talking about, it's a 24-hour, 365 a day, 365 days a year job, like the emergency room or like firemen, right?
Yeah.
Because if something goes on and if it's worth reporting, then that's what we have to do, because it's the best thing for us business wise, and as far as the economy go, to put it out there in a fair, concise type of way about what's going on with Coach Prime, because there are a lot of news sources out there that's just putting stuff out just to put it out, clickbait and falsifying things of that nature. So you have to watch out for that. So that was one of the reasons why I did want to get into it. So yeah, shout out to Jermaine King who supported the channel. Let me see real quick. In the immortal words of Deion Sanders Jr., I want everybody to eat, make your money, and gain views from us. Exactly. That's the love.
All right. Give him a clap for that. Yeah. I like that. I like that.
But that's understanding the ecosystem. Just like Coach Prime said the other day, he commented on the Well Off video. He said this Bucky that, the Must Be the Money snippet that came out, it wasn't even supposed to be out, but it got out, and he said it got out before you, Bucky, something like that. But the point was, it's all good. However it got out, it got out. So it's all love.
But see, this is the thing. I had talked to someone about this before, Brother Chico, Big Dog Chico, and let me just ask you this question straight up. Because I know you probably have talked to people. Well, I know you have talked to people that are down there in Boulder that are around that team. Do you think, let me just ask this question of you. Do you think that Coach Prime, Well Off Media, they know that we're all making videos, that we're eating off of them. But you see, I think that Coach Prime is a brilliant businessman, but a brilliant marketer, because he knows that the things that we're doing on our channels is helping and contributing to promoting CU, the program, the players, Coach Prime, and also it helps them with their recruiting. Nobody want to deal with that little piece. Damn well that Coach Prime is looking back, is sitting back, and he's saying, go on and do what y'all doing, baby. As long as y'all give us credit, but go on and do it because y'all promoting.
Exactly. Same way you see with Pastor E. Dewey Smith. He's not a recruiter. He's not a YouTuber or anything, but he's helping to recruit. All of those things contribute and help at the end of the day. And I think he embraces those things, instead of shuns them or try to, ignore them like some other coaches will. He embraces them and learns how to use them to it, whether it's to his advantage or whatever, but, he embraces them.
Another area, now you played football yourself in college?
Yes, sir. University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Alabama, Birmingham. And what position? Defensive lineman, offensive lineman?
I know I look like an offensive lineman right now, but I just said that last night too. Damn. Walk by the mirror. I played multiple positions. Coming out of high school, I was recruited by most schools, SEC schools, to play linebacker or defensive end. That was my main spot I was recruited at. I liked tight end mostly. I wanted to play offense. So I got recruited by places like Louisville, Southern Miss, UAB, Memphis, Kansas, places like that to play tight end.
Wow.
But Georgia, Tennessee, Auburn, Michigan, who else offered me?
See, this man has got experience.
Yeah, all the Mississippi schools offered me to play defense, but I chose to go with my coach to play offense at University of Alabama, Birmingham. So I played H-back, from tight end to H-back to slot receiver there, all over the field.
So I got to ask this question then, because now you threw a little bit, you threw something in there. Now I got to ask this question. So let's say let's say you could come back to this time period as a football player. would you be and Coach Prime gave you a look?
What?
And let's say you got those same schools looking at you, big dog.
That's a loaded question for me, though.
I know it's a loaded question. Go ahead, brother. What you gonna do?
It should be like that for all these guys, though, man. Because you go to school because let me just say this: when my former coach recruited me to go to UAB, which wasn't on my radar at all.
Okay.
He said, "Hey, man, we're going to get you paid." I'll never forget this. He said, "We'll get you paid." I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Your mom don't have to worry about sending you money every month like she would have to do at Auburn," which is, looking back on it, which is a lie. He sold me some game. But he said, "Your mom won't have to worry about sending you no money like she would have to do at Auburn or Louisville," because he knew I wanted to go to Louisville. He said, "We play those schools. You can go right here at UAB. We're going to pay you monthly, and you'll be straight. And it's a Division I school, and you're going to get the ball."
You're going to get the ball.
Who wouldn't take that? So that was like a version of an NIL, so to speak, or like the mindset now of these players. They're going to go to where some money is offered, so to speak, or if not money, some exposure is offered. Who's getting the most exposure right now? Coach Prime. Why wouldn't someone who gets offered by them wouldn't want to go there? I'm gonna be on the first thing smoking if I got recruited.
Right. But the offensive line. Now we all, not to belabor the point here, we all witnessed the punishment, the grueling punishment that Shedeur went under last season. The offensive line has been retooled, and another person who's coming back that I'm very excited about is Tyler Brown, who we dearly missed last year due to NCAA rules, and which I wish they would have relaxed those rules for this year, like they did this year for him last year, because that's why, and I talked to you about this behind the scenes, that's why a lot of the 2023 young men that he brought in were able to leave, because the NCAA relaxed the rules and said, okay, yeah, you might have transferred multiple places, but okay, because there's lawsuits out there and what have you, litigations going on. But what do you think about the offensive line? They've got Jordan Seaton, who looks like he's a shoo-in at the left tackle, right? Tyler Brown is a shoo-in at what, the right guard? What is your thoughts?
It depends. He can play both of them. Shout out to Tyler Brown, too, for coming back. If you guys want to check out, this is a shameless plug right here. If you guys want to check out his mom's interview I did on Prime Parents, check out, it's on my page, and where we discussed that whole mindset and his mental state of mind during this time on Prime Parents. Check that out. But yeah, the offensive line totally retooled. You got Jordan Seaton, 5-star freshman at the left tackle position. Like you said, he's penciled in as the starter, I would think. He looked really good in the spring. That whole offensive line looked good. And you
got what's that? Is that Justin Mayers?
Yeah, so we're gonna have Justin Mayers probably at the left guard.
Hank
at the center position. Hank and Jakiri Walker, who's another transfer, came in from UConn. They'll be battling at the center position. Mayers came in from UTEP. Then Tyler Brown probably will be that right guard spot. And Khalil Benson from Indiana came over. He's from South Haven, Mississippi. He came over. Also, you can check out his mom's interview on Prime Parents.
His brother, hey, everybody. Big Dog Chico does great interviews. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, tell me if you did interview Tyler Brown too, right?
No, did I? No.
Was he on your channel?
Brown.
Or was he on Life and Football's channel?
It might have been Life and Football. I think he just did John's channel recently also. But I did I had an interview with his mom.
Fantastic.
But as far as the offensive line goes, Tyler and Khalil's mom are both on there, and both of them were pretty entertaining also. If you haven't,
make sure y'all go over there and check out that interview that he did with the parents of these incredible athletes. Look, from all accounts, Coach Prime said it last year, if you keep number 2 upright, he can make some magical things happen, right? So what's your assessment? Do you think that, what's your assessment? Do you think that this might be a breakout moment for them this year?
Yeah, for sure. But first of all, investing in that offensive line.
Okay.
To get back on it really quick, because you have not just those 5 guys or 6 guys we mentioned.
There's
I wouldn't say the depth that they brought in also has
Tyler
been,
Johnson.
really good. Tyler Johnson, who was rated one of the highest offensive linemen by PFF. That's the NFL grading system. In college football last year. So he wasn't even in the starting spot in the spring. So he's having to compete with Justin Mayer.
That's what I'm gonna do, brother. I'm gonna put their their pictures up. I got some of their. Let me get their pictures up here.
Then we bring in Big Boyd from Ethan Boyd from Michigan State.
Right.
Also, I think is that him right there? Yeah, that's
right.
him right
Ethan
there.
Boyd right there.
Ethan Boyd. He got stuck behind Big Spencer, who looked like he's going to be a draft pick. He transferred to Oklahoma. But Boyd, from what I've seen on film, really can play. He has starter capabilities. So he'll be battling with Khalil Benson at the right.
There's Khalil Benson right there, right? That's Khalil.
No, that's Tyler Johnson.
That's
right
Tyler
there.
Johnson. I'm sorry. Yeah, here, let me put. You know what? Here go Khalil.
He's huge.
I'm gonna put Khalil Benson up.
He came over from Indiana.
From Indiana, right?
And
I got a picture. I'm trying to find it right now.
Also got big Peyton Kirkland came over from Texas. He's a
there
young
he is right
guy,
there.
Prospect, but yeah, 6'5", 360, huge guy. You've seen him on the well-off videos working out, along with the kid from Clemson who's just as big, Zachariah Owens. He's there.
Yes.
I think they're plugging
there
him
he
in,
is right there.
At the right or left tackle spot. So yeah, Owens, Kirkland. That's some 2 big young bookends to go along with Jordan Seaton. And then this guy in the middle, Hank Zelinskis, who played well last year. He's a true sophomore. He's out of Cherry Creek, Colorado, homegrown guy. So he's really been battling out the center position last year with Van Bam Wells, who's now moved on to Oregon State. So the offensive line looking really good. They keep Shedeur Sanders upright, keep him from being the most sacked quarterback in the NFL or in the college football, so that he can go to the NFL. The numbers he put up were just the same as Jackson State, but believe it or not, coming from Jackson State, he cut his interceptions in half. I think it was from 6 to 3. So you have 3 interceptions coming over in your first year starting in Power 4 football. You know, it shouldn't be any doubt about what he can do right now. Shedeur Sanders, and with the wide receivers that they brought in now, established guy like Will Shepherd coming over from Vanderbilt, high ceiling guy like Cordero Russell coming from TCU, Terrell Timmons from North Carolina State. Still got Jimmy Horn Jr. there.
Right.
He's a senior. Omarion Miller, what he did last year. You bring in a guy who had 100+ catches at FAU last year. That's LeJontay Wester. So many guys in that wide receiver room. Two dynamic freshmen, Cam Michael and Draylon Miller. I'm missing some guys even at the wide receiver spot. Travis Hunter, you know. So who's going to start there is the biggest question at the wide receiver spot.
And they've also loaded up in the secondary, right? Yes, you got the Hood brothers. The running. I went over the running game a couple of weeks ago. I'm very excited to see what Pat Shermer is going to do, because you are, as you know, when you look at what he did at Minnesota with the Vikings, the way he ran the ball, he loves to run the ball because he wants to play the play action off of it. He loves to run the zone blocking with his offensive linemen inside into the outside. And what was one of the things that I thought that hurt Shedeur last year is that because they weren't able to establish a running game, Big Dog, tell me if I'm wrong or right, it sort of made them one-dimensional. Then Shedeur had to hang on to the ball longer because the routes that his receivers were running were deeper because they were playing behind the chains. And so now with this kind of offensive line, I really hope that Pat can really employ the sort of stuff that he did that made him successful at Minnesota, and particularly when he was in the NFL. I think that go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, and even with Saquon Barkley, I think his rookie year and his breakout year that he had, Pat Shermer was there, I think, as the offensive coordinator. So he wants to dedicate, a huge chunk of the offense to the running game, because that's going to be the best friend to Shedeur Sanders and to the defense. You have to get the running game going to have that time of possession up, to keep your defense off the field, to continue to move those chains. They brought in the correct type of offensive line who can lean on defenses in that run game. Offensive linemen love to run block rather than pass blocking 24/7 because multiple reasons. The defensive line, if they know that the pass is coming all the time, they're pinning their ears back and getting after the quarterback. It's very hard to block a defensive lineman when he knows that it's passing down, constantly. So you have to be able to mix it up, run the ball behind that big offensive line. They brought in some guys who can definitely do that with Dalen Hayden from Ohio State. Then you got the kid, Isaiah Augusto, just came over from Ole Miss.
From Ole Miss. And then you got Brandon Hood.
Brandon Hood and Michael Welch. Brandon Hood was ranked number 4 before he got hurt his sophomore year in high school. You can check out his prime parents interview with his mom and
check
dad.
it out, y'all. On the Big Dog Chico show. Hey, the brother does great interviews. Look, I see that this is an upgrade. I don't want to. No disrespect to Dylan Edward and McCaskill. His mother came over to my channel one weekend when I was going live, and she really cleared up a few things, and I really appreciate her. Shout out to her out there. No disrespect to the parents at all, and I want those brothers to be successful. I know that Dylan Edward is at K-State, right?
Yeah.
And I want him to be successful. But we can't deny that losing those two young dynamic brothers that we have to a certain degree upgraded with this style of runners that we have now. And I think that if they can get this running game going, the way Pat Shurmur likes to run the ball, and he can now run the ball and create off the play action, which he so dearly loves to do.
Yeah.
I think they could be dangerous with that receiving core, which I believe, and they're already saying that their receiving core as a tandem could be one of the best in the country.
Definitely one of the best in the country, based off what they've done in the past and their potential, like we just talked about.
Yes.
And the run game should be much improved this year, along with the tight end additions that they brought in. Not any type of receiving tight ends, but they brought in some big guys who can set that edge in the run game and be some pass or some run blockers also and contribute in the run game. Coach Prime said previously that he's not really into using tight ends as receivers. He would rather use a wide receiver as a receiver to go out there and run the routes to make catches. I understand that.
I understand that too, but keep this in mind. You know as well as I know that Pat Shurmur, he comes from a legacy of the West Coast offense. And in most West Coast offenses, you utilize everybody, tight ends, even fullbacks.
Yeah.
Now, Niners use a fullback quite a bit. Most teams are not using that. So I know Coach Prime wants more receivers out there, but I really think if you look at the young man that they just recruited, Corbin.
You got to dense and tighten up some and use those tight ends and H-backs to have some power football going and have that play action going. Because anytime you had a run game going,
yes, sir,
that's when the play action is way more dangerous. That's going to help the quarterback. And that's when you'll see those big tight ends get a few catches here and there from the bootlegs, quick passes in the flats. You might see a tight end that have 5 or 6 touchdowns, but you saw Mikey Harrison have that 5 or 6 touchdowns last year, but it came in a different way, which I think that it'll come this year. He was more split out. This year, it'll be more off the play action, like you're saying, like you're explaining. So, you got 4 good running backs, plus Charlie, who came from walk-on to now elevated to being a scholarship player. So that's 5 running backs.
Charlie, that's right. Fantastic.
Plus, you mentioned Dylan, McCaskill, Wilkerson, all who are now gone. The guys we brought in compared to them very well as far as like Hayden, shifty, elusive, dynamic back from Ohio State. Brandon Hood ran a 10.8 in the 100-yard flat. So he's a thickly a strong built back, kind of like Michael Welch is, but very fast, just as fast as Dylan Edwards. Then you bring in a bigger back like Augusto, who takes the place of Alton McCaskill. Same size, 6'2", 208 to 212 pounds. So you replace those guys, and if anything, you've elevated, if not that much, you've elevated some, with the guys that you brought in.
Yeah, I understand that Coach Prime wants more speed on the field, which makes sense because it's a spread out game in college football. But I believe Coach Pat in a previous press conference a few months back, you've probably seen the press conference, he did mention that last year, one of the things that also hurt them is that they were without a lot of true tight ends. They were without certain personnel that he likes to play with. If you notice, one of the things that he does, and I would love to see this employed at CU when they're able to get the players through recruitment, transfer portal, what have you, is he likes to interchange his tight ends. He likes to bring in 2 tight ends, 3, move them around in the running game in particular. Some very elaborate type of offensive formations that he likes to run out of tight end sets. So I'm just excited to see what he's going to do with that pro NFL mind. Yeah. And I think that the play calling will be more, I think because of his NFL experience, that some of the problems that they had last year, that Coach Pat will be able to make quicker and better adjustments because I think they've upgraded their personnel.
Yeah, they upgraded the personnel. They're going to make, I think last year's system wasn't as fluent for Shedeur Sanders as the pro style system of Pat Shermer will be for him. A lot of things were option routes, and if the defense did this, then you do that, and the wide receiver has to be on that same page. So this year is going to be more football. Read the coverages. Everybody know what they have, and let's go out there and play fast. So that's on the same thing on the defensive side of the football too. To play fast. Uncle Neely and I talked about this yesterday. To play fast, you have to know what you're doing. If you're going somewhere in the car, you're going to naturally drive slower when you don't know where your destination is. But if you know where your destination, know where you're going, you could drive a little bit faster. You could turn the radio up some, and you can have fun while doing it. That's what Coach Prime and the staff wants the defense to do out there. Play fast, play aggressive, anticipate things rather than having to react to everything on the defensive side of the football. If you see it, go get it, and simplifying the defensive calls and the terminology will allow them to play a lot faster on the defensive side with those better players also. With upgraded players, you should make a lot more plays.
Let me ask, I wanted to bring this to the table, getting back to the economics of it all. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm 54 years old. I've been watching college football for a very long time, football in general, but I can't remember a year like the year that Coach Prime came into the scene in 2023 and how he galvanized, revitalized, and made college football for people very exciting. He had people who weren't even watching college football watch, let alone just watching CU, but watching college football with excitement because they were playing. And of course, the media was following them, for some time live on TV games. And of course, they're going to have some live games this year. They came out with the schedule for live games on major networks. But he impacted college football economically, not just at CU in the millions, but college football in general took a big ratings boost because of Coach Prime.
Well, what's the old saying? A rising tide does what? A rising tide does what? It lifts all boats.
Lifts everybody up. Lifts everybody's boats up. Yeah,
exactly. So what he's doing is bringing a light to everyone. Same thing he did with HBCU football, and everybody was watching. All of a sudden, South Carolina State, Texas Southern, Alabama A&M. We know who Akil Glass is, who's the quarterback at A&M. We know who Coach Dooley is. Grambling gets Hugh Jackson as a head coach. All of these things are happening in that ecosystem of Coach Prime in HBCU land. Now he's doing the same thing here at Colorado and in major college football, so to speak. And everybody has benefited from it. That's why you're seeing them on all these networks. ESPN, Big Noon Kickoff is in Colorado. Pre-game this and post-game that. this celebrity is in there. You know, all these people. I get to meet. One game I met Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
You see Wu-Tang. You see the rapper Cameron.
Right.
You know, come on, dog. They said it before. It's like the BET Awards, right?
Right. I had said this during the season last year. I feel like whether people are going to admit this or not, I think that there are some of these teams out here, coaches, that may have been a little jealous of Coach Prime and the attention that the program was getting, and why they might have been a little jealous of him, or, you know, saying things, little sly stuff. They're going to employ some of his tactics. They're going to copy off of some of the things that he's doing, particularly with the social media, and why they because think about it. You have Coach Prime has his critics out there about, oh, why you putting things on camera? Why you doing this? And you'll have other programs that are going to try to emulate some of this stuff if it means that they can get an edge on recruitment.
Right.
So he's impacted the social media sphere of college football.
Of course, Deion Sanders Jr. shout out to him, like a pioneer in the game right now, because every major program is looking for someone like him if they don't have him already.
Yes.
I know Alabama did have a film crew in the program. Shouts out, you know what? This is a little connection for you. Shouts out to my guy, Nigel McWilliams, because he was at Alabama. He's from my hometown, but he is now on a social media team with the San Francisco 49ers from his work, from what he did with Alabama. So
fantastic. Let's give him a clap. So, let's give that brother a clap.
Social media is huge in college football for recruiting, and just so that your fans can have everyday, daily uptake or upkeep with the program that they're following. And I think it is a testament to today's playing. Like, people don't wait on stuff to come on TV anymore. You know, people don't sit there and watch commercials. They go on demand and watch what they want to watch right now. You know, so that's why you have to put all this content out there. If you're a school like Alabama or whatever, you have to put this content out there so you're constantly on the minds of people, because they're on their phones each and every day. So you have to put out content each and every day for them to consume.
Right. Do you think because Coach Prime, you know, he gives us a little glimpse into what's going on with the well-off media and all the different channels, and Darius Sanders, all the different channels that have that on-the-ground view of what's happening? Do you think, it's just a general question, that Coach Prime has been a little bit too transparent? Like when he has his press conference and he says certain straight shooter stuff, and then people take it all out of context, but he's being honest, and that's who he's always been from day one, even before he got into coaching. That's what people fail to understand, that that's who he is. What are your thoughts about that, Big Dog Chico?
Well, here's the thing. Couple things. Once he said, when the light shines, is going to show, you know, he's going to show all the good, but it's also going to show the blemishes and the bad also. So with a guy like him who's been in the spotlight, as he said, since '89, he know how to handle the fame. You have a lot of coaches who will have a problem with showing these things day to day in their life, whether it's from embarrassment or not being able to handle it, or maybe they're doing something wrong that they don't want anyone to see, you know? So you have to respect, you know, and admire really a guy who doesn't mind putting all this stuff out there on Front Street, you know, whether it's me losing or winning and dealing with the criticism or getting praise from it. You have to kind of admire it, because most people won't do it. A lot of coaches are afraid to do it. A lot of coaches might be hiding some stuff. A lot of coaches, you know, it's a multitude of reasons why it works for him and it won't work for anybody else. And one quick thing I'll say is the reason why it won't be duplicated, but it will be emulated, but never duplicated, because this man has the trust that he has with the cameras around him, right? Is the difference. He can trust that his son is not going to put out anything that's going to be, you know, crazy or look crazy or something. You know what I mean? That's going to compromise the brand, so to speak. Even though they're putting each and everything up there, but he can still trust when he's speaking to someone. You ever, you know, been around somebody, they put a camera in your face or somebody, they ask you something, you're like, I don't know who you are. I'm not going to really say too much, or So with him having his sons there and being able to speak candidly to his sons, playing and doing the media, who else is going to emulate that?
I don't
Who else
think
is going to do
anybody
it?
can emulate that.
Everyone else is hiring people to come in and put a camera in their face. You go
Right.
back to the reality shows they were doing. Deion Sanders Jr. was filming his brothers playing football even back then. So it's
Even
a
back then.
familiar face doing this constantly, and so they're okay with that, and it translates on camera also.
Right. So this is nothing new. It's authentic. It's who they've been.
Nothing new. Nothing new at all. So
wow.
he just lived this day-to-day life for him, dog. No.
All right.
Since 1989, dog. It's everyday life.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Let me ask this as we get ready to soon wrap this up. Or both of us we'll wrap this up. And folks, let me just let you know, if you like the combination of us just, talking CU football and all the cultural aspects, let us know with comments on both our channels so that we can figure out a way as best we can to do it again as much as we possibly can that our schedules would allow us to, because I'm actually really enjoying the conversation, and have always wanted to talk to you and get your perspective. But this is the perspective I want to ask you, brother. And everybody, make sure you subscribe to the Big Dog Chico, his channel. He's got a strong reaching arm on these social media platforms out here, the Facebook and just everything, the Twitter or X as they call it. But the schedule.
Hold your thought right there. Hold your thought right there. Make sure y'all put your city, your country, and your state in the chat right now, because I see Ghana in here.
We got somebody from out of the country. Ghana?
Yeah, I see Ghana. I see San Diego in here.
Oh, let me pull it up.
Flood us with the comments right now. Let us know where you're checking in from and how you checking in. What you fake caring about today.
We got my sister Shirley, who's coming through. Sister Fox is over here.
That's right.
I appreciate everybody. Yeah, we got a lot of great people. We share some of the similar audience. This young lady, I like this comment that she left. The tennis channel. She says, "Love your show and your guest, Chico. This is great. We're doing the show jointly. It's just we connected it to our channels, and I think this is one of the things that StreamYard does right. That's pretty cool that you can connect right to your channel and everybody can get a piece of the action. But look, you've had a chance to look at the schedule. I think if I'm saying his name correct, Joe Klein, or I never said his last name correctly. He came out with an article just this week. Joe Klein. He played for CU back in the day, right? He was quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
He came out with an article and he says it would not surprise him if CU could end up in the Big 12 championship game. That if they could at least win 8 games. That's what he's saying. 8 games to at least make it to a bowl.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're going to be a lot better than a lot of people think. You have to realize the situation Prime came into last year during December and had to assemble a whole staff and then as many players as he could. I always liken it to going to a grocery store or getting a new apartment or a new house or whatever, and now you have to go stock up the refrigerator, but you have a certain, you got a time limit and you have a budget, right? So you're going to probably make a list and make priority of what you're going to get that's going to be the highest quality. So I'm going to give me a high quality quarterback, safety, running back, wide receiver, whatever I can get, and then I'll fill in everything else based off the budget. But I want to get as much as I can get, in my fridge and stock up on. So I might have to get some great value butter. Or I might have to get some great value, orange juice or something this week. Or I might not even get orange juice this week. I might just get some the frozen one that you put in the freezer that you got to throw out. I might have to drink that orange juice for a season. But you come back the next season with a brand new budget.
Yes.
And some of those things are still in the fridge. You still have that quarterback. You still have Travis Hunter and such. So now you can build around that. So this second year of building and adding those groceries, you're going to have a lot better team this year. You're going to have a lot better meal prepared this year with all the ingredients that you really wanted from the start.
Okay. I know you've had a chance, Big Dog Chico, to examine the schedule, which we got to be. I keep telling people the schedule that they have in a Big 12, no disrespect, is not what the schedule they had against in the Pac-12. The Pac-12, for whatever reason, they had some ranked teams and they were playing tough. I'm not saying that the Big 12 is going to be a cakewalk. There's some teams there, but I think that schedule, when you compare to what they went through last year, and like you said, putting a team together very quickly, and now he's been able to do what he said he needs to do. Coach Prime says we now know what we need,
right?
And we went after it. I think it's doable that they can have a better season, win more than the games that they won last year, compete. And if the offensive line is a big upgrade, we know what Shedeur can do when he's got time.
Exactly. Hell, we know what he can do. He's getting sacked constantly, and that's put up the numbers he did this year. So imagine if he's sitting back there unscathed with those wide receivers that they have that can run around now. So, I think he's going to break several records that he set last year. Some of those records that he broke were Joe Klatt's record, and I think he's going to
Joe Klatt. That's who it is. Yeah,
break some of those records of his own this year. So starting off the season with North Dakota State, which is not a slouch at all. I call them the Alabama of FCS football because they're constantly in the championship game up there. So North Dakota State at home will be a tough one, but I think we'll be able to pull out the win because of the talent factor, especially at the quarterback spot and putting up the points. Probably be a tough game first couple quarters or whatever, but if we can come out fast, which was a problem last year sometimes, I think that game should be probably plus 21 at the end of the day from Colorado. Then you go to a tough one at Nebraska at Lincoln. So they're going to be rocking there, expecting it. It's going to be their Super Bowl. So that's going to be a tough game, but I still think with that quarterback they have, it's going to be tough too. A totally different ball game than last year where they had to run the ball a lot and then had those turnovers. This year, I think their quarterback will be able to throw the ball around or at least have the ability to. But I think with Warren Sapp on that defensive line, we're going to get after him. And he said previously that he wants to sack each quarterback each game.
I like that.
In those first 10 plays. Shout out to Coach Sapp right there.
All right.
Move on to Colorado State. That rivalry game, of course, in Collins, up there, northern Colorado versus Colorado State. Of course, I think that's going to be a victory. So starting out 3-0 with that first conference game being Baylor coming into town. And me personally, I played against Baylor at UAB.
Wow.
Down there at Baylor, we beat them. So I have a little thing to where I'm not afraid of Baylor, So
no, I think we can win that game.
Baylor,
right.
So
I'm not afraid of North Dakota State.
Right. North Dakota State, Nebraska, Colorado State, and then Baylor. I think we're starting off 4-0. The game I'm really worried about this first half of the season would be UCF because of what they've been able to bring in from the transfer portal and recruiting wise. They've really put in some work, and they got some talented players down there at UCF.
Right.
That could be a game a lot of people look over, but going down to play in Orlando, I played against them too in college.
Wow.
They're going to be a tough matchup. They have a lot of talent down there. So I'm looking to start off without jumping ahead too fast, 4-0 going into UCF for Colorado. And all we have to do is find a way to win 4 more games on that back end out of the last 6 or 7.
Well, let me see this. Let me see this. The last 4 games, as I've got the schedule up somewhat up here, the last 4 games, they've got Cincinnati, Kansas, Texas Tech, and of course, you said it, UCF, and they've got some players down there. Interesting. I'm kind of curious. Yeah, they got the Arizona game. They played Arizona last year. Utah is going to be tough. I got to be honest.
Of course, yeah.
They got the players at Utah. But this is the game. Okay. The game that I'm intrigued to see because of Dylan Edwards going to K-State is seeing the matchup, our defense go up against K-State, particularly if Dylan Edwards is going to start in that game and be used the way CU was trying to use him last year in that opening game against TCU where he was electrifying, y'all. Yeah. But that's a game that I'm curious to see what's going to happen as well. I want to remind people or something, because we were talking about in this title of this video today, this stream today, about the prime economic. I just want to remind people who might have come in a little bit late. I had read this earlier in the show. Boulder Chamber of Commerce established that Coach Prime debut brought an economic impact of $17 million on game day, along with 70% from last year's home opener. Hotel rooms were hard to find, sold out. Visitors were staying far away because everything within town was literally sold out. Plus people out there selling the t-shirts, the merchandise. Everybody's making money. Let's keep it real. But check this out. And then we find out that this upcoming season, that the damn tickets are sold out. They've already sold it out.
Yeah, for what is the second consecutive season, they've sold out.
Which they haven't done before, and God knows when. That's the impact, right, of Coach Prime.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
People got to understand.
They're officially sold out. Officially sold out for the 2024 season, for the second straight season, and the 10th time in the history of the CU program is what the article says. So, you know, as long as Coach Prime is there, I think it's going to continue to sell out, especially if he puts up a winning season this year, like I think they will. They get to that 8-win season. It's going to be tough to do, but they can do it. I think they stay healthy. That defense plays fast. A lot of other teams have lost players to the transfer portal also, so that can't be looked past with the additions that Coach Prime has brought in. So 8 wins. I'm looking forward to getting this year, getting to that Big 12 championship, winning that game, putting us in the playoffs, and anything can happen from the playoffs.
Okay, Big Dog, I got to ask you this because of your football experience. As we know, Robert Livingston, the defensive coordinator who has NFL experience, and I think he's been successful at building up the secondary at Cincinnati with getting guys into Pro Bowls, especially as safeties. He wants to run, and I think he'll do this in different packages. You know, they'll run different packages, but in particular, one of the packages that we see in college football that's run quite a bit is the 4-2-5 defense. And this is just a little small illustration of that. I've shown this a bunch of times where you've got, you know, literally 3 safeties in the game. You know, you got your traditional free safety, a strong safety over the top of maybe, like, let's say the offense is spreading you out with 3 wide receivers and you got a tight end. Of course, you've got like a Mike linebacker, 2 cornerbacks you see here. You bring in a nickel, and then maybe you might have a nose guard or nose tackle or 2 defensive end. What do you think about this formation that Coach Livingston wants to run, Big Dog Chico? Just wanted to get your
break it down on the last segment right here. If you can leave that up, I can point.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it up, brother. As we get ready to close out.
A few minutes left, so let's go ahead and break it down. As you see, this S in this defense is that safety spot, or that star position as we called it last year, and it kind of fits perfectly with what we were able to do with Trevor Woods last year, who moved from the safety spot to the linebacker positions, where he was able to cover a lot of tight ends. As you see him lined up over the tight end right here, he was able to cover a lot of the tight ends and the running backs out of the backfield. So that gave them an extra cover guy at the linebacker spot, rather than using a linebacker to try to cover those tight ends. This is more of a passing down situation, but it will work well with the defense and the personnel that we currently have with Shiloh Sanders at the free safety back there. Then you have Cameron Sealman-Craig, who can play the star or the strong safety. You have a guy like Herman Smith Jr. is a former Jackson State guy from Coach Prime's days, who transferred to Idaho State. He's now back with Coach Prime in Colorado. He could play that strong safety spot. Another former cornerback, Carter Stoppmeyer, he's going to be at the safety position, who can cover now. So with the personnel that Colorado has, it's going to fit them to play this in passing situations. As we saw also Travis play the nickel spot, and they use Preston Hodge or DJ McKinney, or we could see Colton Hood out there from Auburn playing at the cornerback position. So you have a lot of talent there that can play in multiple spots in that defense, especially in this 4-2-5. The middle linebacker should be competition between Nakai Hill-Green and Levante Bentley, who's the starter last year. I think they're going to you could see them on the field at the same time this year also. So a lot of guys who have playing experience on that back end. We can't forget about Riley, who came over from Miami by way of Vanderbilt, and then also R.J. Johnson, who came over from Arkansas, is back there at the safety spot too. So you got some guys who could push Shiloh and Cameron Silman-Craig for some playing time, or be playing on the field at the same time with them.
And let's not forget Trevor Woods. They converted him to a linebacker.
That's the first
how do you see that? How do you
think?
How do you see that playing out?
I think he's going to still be there at that linebacker spot. He's a good cover guy. He's one of those guys who can keep everybody in the right position. A lot of experience. You saw him get 2 key picks last season, TCU game, and I think I think it was the Colorado State game at home where he got that pick to seal the game. So they moved him from being so deep out there in space at the safety spot, brought him down closer in the box at the linebacker position.
He's a better tackler.
You want more of a, I would say, a true run-stopping linebacker there next to that Mike linebacker on the run situations. But you will see Trevor a lot in the passing downs.
Brother, you got a super chat. Let's read your super chat here.
Super chats. What are super chats?
I like this collaboration. What is your confidence level with the backup quarterback who you're starting at wide receiver? One thing I am sure of, we will have a running game. All right, brother. All right. So, big dog, there you go.
My confidence level at the backup quarterback spot, I'm good there. I like Ryan Staub, what he did last year. So he has that experience. Then you got some guys who I think might be a tad bit more talented, quote unquote, and Keaton Wade back there came over from Kentucky, and big Walter Taylor from Vanderbilt who came over there. So you got some guys who can sling it in the backfield, but I do think Ryan Staub will keep a hold on that backup spot right there behind Shedeur Sanders. So at the wide receiver spot might be the deepest and toughest position to predict starters at on this team. But I'm of the philosophy of you rotate them guys. Anybody run a deep route, go straight to the sideline, because we could bring in somebody who might be just as talented as you, but his energy will be on 100 rather than on 80. So go get you some water, bring in the next guy. So it should be rotating that wide receiver. But the first 4 you will see, I think, will be and let's exclude Travis Hunter, make it a little bit easier for your boy. So we know we'll see Travis out there, but let's say Travis is off the field. You got LeJontay Wester in the slot, 100-plus catches last year. Jimmy Horn Jr. on the other side in the slot, led the team in touchdowns and receptions last year.
Who they gonna cover?
Who you gonna cover, dog?
Who you gonna cover? You can't cover nobody.
And you go to a guy who was proven in the SEC last year. I think he'll take the spot of Xavier Weaver, and that'll be Will Shepherd. Size, speed, nice hands. And then on the outside, huge competition with Omarion Miller, Cordero Russell.
I think Omarion Miller, from what we got a chance to get a taste of, I think in the USC game last year, I think now that he gets more playing time and get a chance to spread his wings further, we're going to really see how dangerous he is. I'm looking forward to that, to what he's going to do. I wanted to I just want to shout out everybody in both chat rooms tonight. We are both live on both our channels. We are doing this together as one. And so I just want to say peace. We got my man Ed Houston in there, one of my mods, Alicia. I just want to say peace to everybody out there. But I want to ask you, I want to bring this question up, and I want to say peace to DC Legacy Group Finance. Thank you for coming over tonight. You've been in the chat room. I've been noticing you. He says, if Shiloh's out for a few months, I see Trevor going back to strong, I guess, safety to keep that hit stick going. What are your thoughts? This is from DC Legacy Group Finances. You saying no?
Linebacker now. We have safeties back there who can be plugged and played in that position. You got RJ Johnson from Arkansas, as I mentioned. You got Savion Riley from Vanderbilt, who went to Miami and then transferred to Colorado. You have Herman Smith III back there. You're going to have Carter Stottmeyer back there. You got Cameron Sealman Craig back there. That's 5 guys I've named off the top of my head that can play right now if anybody is hurt. So, you know, we're good there. We're in a position from the depth point of view to where we're in a much better space than last year. Really, I couldn't be happier with the guys that we brought in because a lot of guys had playing experience or starters at the previous schools that they were at. So, including I forgot to mention Ivan Yates, big corner.
Ivan Yates. Oh yeah.
So, yeah, you got some guys back there, man.
Oh, you know what? I gotta bring this up. I gotta bring this young man up. Let's not forget RJ Johnson, the young man.
I see in the chat. I said RJ Johnson name 3 times. I see in the chat they said don't forget RJ Johnson. Yes, sure. I just said RJ.
All right, tell the truth.
Johnson, Savion Riley, Cameron Sealman Craig, Herman Smith III, Carter Stottmeyer, Shiloh Sanders. That's 6 safeties that can really play right now.
Right.
On that squad. Trevor Woods is going to be that weak side linebacker covering those tight ends and running backs out of the backfield.
But this is what I wanted to say specifically about RJ Johnson. Y'all can check this out on my channel. I did a video on him, went into detail. You know that he's versatile. He can play cornerback, safety. As a matter of fact, I think I saw some video on him where he even played a little bit of receiver, I think, coming out of the young man. There's a couple of young men on this team that are versatile, Big Dog Chico, that can, if somebody was to get, we don't want nobody to get hurt, but if something was to happen, there's some young men on this team who, let's say they're not starting at defense right now, but they got some offensive skills that Coach Prime could plug in there if necessary.
Well, I think he got the guys on defense that he did bring in, like Angel Lopez, the young guy, Malachi Murphy, young guy. Coach and Hood, all these guys are former offensive guys who have great ball skills, who can get the interceptions. You know, it won't be those guys that drops these picks all the time. You got former wide receivers over there now who can play. Also, a guy like Cam Michael, who's going to be, I think, Travis Hunter 2.0, or I want to say 2.0. I'll say
that's right. Cam is coming in, and he can play receiver and defensive back too. We got the young Cam,
super fast, already strong and built like a college football player. Another plug. Check out the interview I did with his mom on Prime Parents.
Prime Parents, y'all make sure y'all check it out.
Prime Parents.
So
Prime Parents. You'll see more, man.
What it looks like, and it's pretty obvious, they didn't have depth last year, y'all. Let's be honest. When they were going through their struggles, we have a football team that has depth, y'all.
Yeah.
We have a football team where you have some interchangeable players that can play different, multiple positions. If someone gets hurt, if someone needs a breather, he could rotate some of these other young, talented players in the game. And another thing I need to bring up too, Big Dog Chico, if you go back and look at how Pat Shermer ran his offense at Minnesota with the running backs, he likes to split. He likes to play with 2 running back sets where he splits them out.
I wish.
Right.
I hope we see some sets like that this year.
Please
I hope we see
do.
Some sets with Draylon Miller in the backfield, Cam Michael in the backfield, Brandon Hood, Michael Welch, all of these guys. Multiple. Jimmy Horn Jr. get some sweeps. You know,
because he
I would
likes to
like
run
see that.
misdirection type offensive plays. Another thing he does with his receivers, because I've seen some film on this, he motion. Same thing the 49ers do, and it hurts the defense. It confuses the defense. It puts pressure on the defense. He likes to motion his receivers, move guys around, put people in different positions. Maybe you might take a guy who plays the outside and put him in a slot on a play. He moves people around, and we didn't see enough of that last year, and that's why I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, too vanilla last year, and this right here puts pressure on the defense. Also gives the quarterback pre-snap reads. A lot of people don't realize that, where when a guy goes in motion from the outside to the inside, based off of what that defense does, it gives a tip to the quarterback, lets him know the type of coverage that they're in, which side he should be throwing the ball to, all from that one little motion before the snap. Simple things that you can do to help out your quarterback rather than trying to force him to deal with it and do it the way that you want to do it, work within your system. Let's work with what he does best. And that is a guy like Shedeur Sanders. He can read the defense, he can manipulate the defense, and he can throw his guys open. So let's give him a chance to do that and not try to make him play like a mechanical type quarterback. And even when doing that, he still only threw 3 interceptions last year. So, hey.
Right.
Pick your poison this year, though.
Right, Sister Fox. We didn't see any of this versatility in the offense. It was too one-dimensional. No running game. There was a lot of reasons for that. Obviously, the offensive line was part of the problem. I just didn't think that Sean Lewis. I didn't think Sean Lewis, and good luck to him at San Diego State, but I didn't think that he brought enough imagination to the offense that they were running with the talent that they did have last year. And another thing that cannot be underscored is that some of the guys that were on last year's team that's still here, they're coming in with more experience as a team for those that are still there. So now you bring a team back that has more experience, a little bit of understanding of what each other can do. And I want to see situations like you see in the NFL where the players can kind of talk to Shedeur without really talking, meaning when a guy moves a certain way, Shedeur knows, oh, he about to go do this. You know what I'm saying? That chemistry. We may see more of that this year where there's a play and they're like they're reading each other's mind through the body language of working in practice together.
All that. I'll not to cut you off, but as
no, go ahead,
up,
brother.
Here,
go
guys
ahead.
In the chat, I think this is going to be our last segment in the chat. I see you guys in the chat right now, but
okay.
What's being fostered right now and what Shedeur Sanders did by bringing all those guys to the ranch out in Dallas and have them throwing and work out with each other, as you saw in the videos, that allows him to see how these guys run their routes, the depth. He can now adjust things, say, hey, man, I like it like this. Or when you run your hook route, you need to come back to the ball more. I'm going to throw it in this area, expect it here. When you run your post routes, this is where you need to go. This is my depth on the. All these things is going to bring that chemistry and that camaraderie to where when they get into that adverse situations, that foxhole, so to speak, they can still be communicating with each other, and it won't be a problem or a disconnect in that way. And all of that stuff is going to allow them to play fast on the football field, allow Shedeur Sanders to do his thing and pick those defenses apart. And with the pairing of, like you said, Coach Pat Shurmur's the offensive schemes, the running of the ball, the shifting and the motions, and the use of the tight ends, hopefully multiple running backs, and just a whole different system rather than that check down and what do you call it, the option system. This is going to be a lot more efficient for Shedeur Sanders. It's going to help the offense, going to help the defense, and it's going to also have him, I think, in that Heisman race at the end of the day. And that's going to be, if we can get those wins, which I think we will, that's going to elevate him to the Heisman candidacy. I think he'll be in New York along with Travis, like Uncle Neely and myself announced yesterday. I think both of them will be in New York for the Heisman Trophy presentation.
Wow. Let me say this. You got another super chat, my brother.
All right, here you go, guys. Appreciate
Lucas.
Leave a like, subscribe, comment, all the other good stuff. Shout out to Lucas for the super chat.
Yeah.
Love the discussion about
Lucas says, I love the discussion. I love the discussion about Pat Schumer.
Okay.
offensive.
Go ahead.
Let me just read this. He says, I love the discussion about Pat Shermer's offensive schemes. Would love more content dissecting how he could employ specific players. Excellent discussion, gentlemen. Thank you. And
let's do that. Let's make sure we do that on the breakdown next time. We're going to make sure we have breakdown for offensive coordinator Pat Sherman, offensive schemes and what he can do with certain players like Jimmy Horn Jr., Wester, Miller, and Michael also.
That's an excellent suggestion. I actually was planning on doing another show to go more deep into what he does with the passing game and what have you, but that's an excellent question to ask us. We should go deeper and dive into it, but it's about what you say. This is correct. What I'm about to say, Big Dog Chico, it's about understanding what each receiver skill set is, right? Everybody's not the same, right? You got some guys that are faster at getting down the field, some guys that are better in their tactician of running their routes. It depends on what each guy can do. And brings it. We know that Jimmy Horn's gonna bring you speed. You know, he's gonna give you that tenacity. We got a guy, Shepard with great hands and experience. So we'll see. That's a good question. Man, brother, I really enjoyed this. We should have did this a long time ago. And you're such a wealth of knowledge, Big Dog Chico. And everybody needs to subscribe to this man's channel. Thank you.
Yeah. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Prime Sports Media, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all the other good stuff. Same way with Big Dog Chico on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and all social media. Last super chat just came through for the $10. Alexander Gallant says, the Buffs are going to win the Big 12 and then the chip. I'm all with it, baby.
I'm all with it too. All right. All right. All right. Well, everybody, we're going to have to do this again when the time permits for us to do it again and give these breakdowns and analysis. I'm looking forward to it again because I really enjoy talking to Big Dog Chico. Like I said, he's a wealth of knowledge. The brother, he has an advantage over most of us because he's played the game at the college level. So he has a certain understanding of football in the trenches of it, unlike no one else. And this is why he has great interviews and he brings the families on. And I think that's cool what you're doing, brother. So I love it. I love it.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all you guys and what you are doing out there, man, keeping this thing going. And yeah, we'll be back with another one. Whether it's next week or whenever. I think we can do it next week. We can put something together
next week. We'll just
get those schedules together.
We'll talk about it on the phone. We'll communicate and see what the next topic is we want to touch on. I think the question at the let me bring this up on the screen.
Real quick. Lawrence RBE said, can we get this weekly? Hey, if y'all support it, we'll bring it to you.
Yeah, definitely. We can do it if you all support it. And then you got to also be a little patient if sometimes our schedules may not work because of family commitments and things of that nature. But if we don't have family things that are getting in the way, then we can definitely do it. I'm going to be honest with you. I would like to see if one of these weekends we can galvanize the audience and get a Saturday or a Sunday in when we can go live at even better time to maximize everyone getting this, coming over when we're live together as a team. So but
I know it's late on the East Coast right now. I know some people saying it's 12 a.m. on the East Coast, and so we appreciate y'all checking in. As we're West Coast guys right now, California, Hawaii. So we're holding it down from the West, man. You know what I mean?
And Lawrence gave you a $2 super chat. He gave a $2 super chat, so thank you. Shout out to Shirley in the chat room. Prophet, shout out to brother King, Shirley, brother Houston, Alicia, Mark T, everybody who's in the house tonight. We'll do it again. And what can I say, y'all? This is what we're doing. It's the prime economics. It's the prime effect, y'all.
All right. I know what to do, man. Hit the like, subscribe, comment,
All right, y'all. Peace. Thank you for coming over.
Middle East.
Make sure you subscribe to Big Dog Chico. Check out his channel. Everybody, y'all take care.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Appreciate you.
You've been listening to a production with Big Dog Chico and Prime Sports Media. Thank you again, everybody. Have a great night.